How much of a factor does your physical health play into your mental health, you think?
What's our plans for the future? Your plans for the future?
One piece of advice you could give to everyone to love, what do you think it would be? This is Spitballin with Colin.
Welcome. Another week. And we're back with a guest. Last week was a solo pod, and the week before I was caught slacking. So we're back. We got a guest. We have a fellow teammate, a Bridgewater Bear, a sleeper on the Bridgewater Bear lineup. Had a hell of a week down in Myrtle Beach. Hopefully we can continue that through the season. Johnathon O'Donnell. We call him OD, so if he OD, that's OD.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get to it. So I always start usually like a little upbringing, like so that kind of leads into the rest of the podcast, and like obviously parents play a big role, but I want to dive into like your brother dynamic, like the impact of growing up with not only a younger brother but also an older brother. Like what kind of impact did they have on you growing up?
I'd say definitely big impact. My older brother was always very hard on me and my younger brother, but even my younger brother would push me to be better. Obviously now he's doing his thing at Ikson, but they pushed me to be the best person I could be on fields, on the ice, and even at home. We fought a lot, but it's brotherly love, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
It's going to happen, but they both definitely have been a big inspiration to me why I wanted to play college sports, not just end it after high school like some kids do.
Yeah. I think like having a little brother, it's like when you're growing up, they piss you off probably more than like you have fun with them. But it's like it's a built-in best friend.
I'd say so. It's funny. When I went to boarding school, my first boarding school in Marlboro. He was always around, always came to campus, and he asked me if I could go there. He even asked my parents first.
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely not at first.
Yeah.
And then I saw how better he was than everyone else, sports-wise, academically-wise, at Hall Public Schools.
Yeah.
I'm like, he needs to get out. Like,
Yeah.
I got out, he deserves to get out.
Yeah.
So I took him around the visit, took him to meet all my buddies, the hockey, baseball coaches, and they fell in love with him instantly.
Yeah.
Not just because he's a good person, but the athletic part of it.
Yeah.
And so we went to school for a year together, and it was honestly probably the best years of my life.
Yeah.
Having my brother there, kind of having my back, I have his back.
Yeah.
It's just a pretty cool experience.
It's fun. It's fun having your brother go to the same school as you.
It also can piss you off though, because he's definitely a dink. So
Yeah. Maddie's not a dink, so. But like, yeah. I mean, like growing up, for me, Maddie runs faster than me. So it's like, I'm trying to beat his ass, or he's pissing me off, he's going to run away. Like, I'm sorry.
Same thing with my younger
But it's
brother.
like, and then it is like a very high correlation that younger brothers are definitely usually faster because they're always like, they see you and they always want to catch up to you.
Right,
So then
right.
they just like, they work harder
Yeah.
to be faster. And they actually like tend to be better athletes. Like a lot of the professional athletes have an older brother or an older person they were trying to like keep up with. And then.
So I definitely see that because I'm still a decent athlete, but he definitely has surpassed me.
Mm-hmm.
You could kind of see it early high school, to late high school, where I was up above him, and then I kind of went down a little bit just because where I just wasn't playing a lot.
Yeah.
He went to a school where he knew he was going to play a lot, and he got exposure. So that's where he kind of creeped up, and I know most people kind of would probably get jealous about that, but I kind of saw that as motivation, like, hey, I have a younger brother doing this, I can do the same thing, even if it is at the Division III level like I am right now.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to kind of experience and kind of see.
Yeah. Let's touch on that. Like you're a very positive guy. Like you're a great team guy. And you don't get that for males. I think for female sports it's probably a little different. Like everybody's like, I got your back, like
No, 100%.
I'm gonna support you. But I think on males it's like, yeah, dude, good job, but it's also like fuck you, bro. I'm trying to be better than you. But it's like you're like all love. Like, yeah, you want to compete, you're gonna do your best,
Right.
but it's like you're also like, I'm for the team. Like you have that greater vision, and that's special.
Yeah.
How do you cultivate that, or is that just natural?
I'd say it's a big part kind of my parents' background. Parents are very hardworking. Came from really not a lot. Maybe my mom grew up in Randolph. My dad grew up in Hull. Not big towns, not really, so say, rich towns. And just always had that grinding mentality. And I kind of grew up where I was always, especially for hockey, I was always the only goalie on the team. So I never really had that type of personality to be like, I got to be a good teammate here. Instead of, I was always like, I got to be the star. Yeah. And once I got to college and realized that, hey, I'm coming from a Division IV high school in Hull and going against like Division I high schools, like kids going from BR, Dedham, stuff like that, like bigger schools, I had to realize that, you know, my time will come, but right now I got to be a team guy. And I found that early on that's probably the best way I can do myself, and then also possibly get into a lineup, because the coaches do realize that. Yeah. And I feel like that's how I kind of evolved into the player I am right now. Like over the week, I didn't play the first 3 games. We touched on that. Like I was always up, always talking to people. I mean, we had a freshman play every single game. He's disgusting at baseball. He's a stud. Yeah, he's a stud. In the last couple games, he was struggling, and you can tell like that like it was in his head. So I always went up to him like, hey, just keep your head up. Yeah. Next at bat, next play, do something that you're going to make the simple play. The easy plays will always come, but when you have to make that spectacular play, it's going to come. And he did do that a bunch of times. He's a very good player. Yeah. And but I feel like me being that guy is just, I kind of want to be a role model. Like I'm a fifth-year senior. Yeah. I want to kind of leave a good mark here, kind of thing. Yeah. You need an OD on every team. Like 100%. just someone that's just like, my ego is not in the way here. Like it's not like I kind of hope you screw up. It's like, hey, I'm going to work and I'll be ready. Right. Like, you're always ready. Right. Like, when I got my chance down there, I knew I was locked in. I didn't talk to anyone that whole bus ride. I didn't even talk to coach or anything. I had no idea I was playing. I had my headphones in. How I usually do it, I don't talk to anyone. Yeah. And then I see my name on the lineup. I'm like, all right, this is time to go. And, of course, my first at bat, I get hit first pitch. Hey, you're on base. On base percentage is immaculate right now. Yeah. But I mean, that was my first at bat in over a year and a half from me getting injured last year. So I was shaking in the box, and then after that, I was like, you know what, it's time to calm down, and ended up getting 2 hits that game, and it was just a good day. Good day to be a Bear that day. Yeah. You set the tone. Yeah, definitely. Drove in a couple runs. Just doing what a veteran is supposed to do. 100%. Can you describe to the people Hull? Like is it technically on the South Shore? It is technically on the South Shore, but it's like whenever people don't know where Hull is, they instantly know where Hingham, Scituate, Cohasset is. Yeah. You just keep going. Hull's right there. It's great for 6 months, and then the next 6 months you don't want to be there. Yeah. I mean, it was great for me growing up there in a small town because kind of excelled as a person. I mean, I have a lot of friends there, and I mean, I graduated with 88 kids. So I knew absolutely everyone in that class. School. Yeah. I mean, I only went to the high school for 1 year, but I definitely wish I went there for all 4. It was a great experience, and I loved every minute of it. Yeah. It's kind of like an island. Yeah, peninsula. Yeah. Surrounded by 3 bodies of water. So. Yeah, it's. If you look on a map of Hull, just zoom out a little bit, and you'll see it's literally like a line with like a little part of land. Exactly. Yeah. But it's interesting. But you got a beach. Yeah. Whole you got a little bit of everything down there. Yeah. And then, if you want to swim, you can swim. If you want to walk the beach, you can walk the beach. Yeah. But they just did the turf right at the high school, and it's beautiful. It's definitely a great place. Your high school is such on a good spot. Yeah. And thank God they finally did it, because who knows when enrollment's going to start going down even more than it already is. Yeah. Kind of thing. So I think it's going to definitely make kids stay there. I would hope kids would stay there, but I know, like, for my brother example, like, if there's kids like that, there's no reason to stay. Yeah. That's when you have to get out, just for the athletic standpoint. Yeah, towns like that, it's tough. Like, my girlfriend works at Holbrook, so it's, like, all right, if I'm a stud athlete in Holbrook, I'm probably not going to Holbrook Public Schools. I'm going to go to a private school or, like, a charter, like, a different school, you know? Yeah. So it's tough. It's interesting. Yeah, it was tough for me to kind of decide to go back. I just ran into a couple A little trouble just because, kids being kids.
Yeah.
I'm coming from
We
a
might
town.
get to that, but
Yeah, well, I'm fine talking about that.
Yeah.
So, but at that point, I was just like, you know what, it was the right fit. I play every game in hockey, baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Got to play for my uncle and my dad again, which was an unreal experience.
Yeah.
I mean, they were hard on me, but they always were.
Yeah.
And it was just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said for going where you're going to play.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're going to jump a little bit, but going to, like, a D3 school, like, yeah, like, could you go to a bigger school, or do you want to go to a bigger school? But then, like, you know how many kids are in our conference or in the MASCAC who have, like, transferred from a bigger school because they didn't play for 2 years? Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, for a lot of people can go to D3, okay, whatever, it's D3. But, dude, if you're a stud at D3 and you play every day, like, you're going to develop if you go to a good coach.
100%.
And then you're going to play every day. Like, you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what my uncle did. He went to Bridgewater. He was an All-American. He almost got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he played a little bit independent ball with my dad and stuff, but still, he got the chance to play after. It doesn't matter where you start. Honestly, Division III is probably, I'd say, it's hard to play in just because you never know what you're gonna get every day.
Yeah, I mean, there's talent.
Yeah, 100%.
There's talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my freshman year, I played against a kid that got drafted second base. I don't know if he's still in the minors, from Salem State. And then you always heard of another guy who got invited to major league tryouts or this and that,
Right.
or got signed. It's like, they're gonna find you. Like, that's the
100%.
thing. They're gonna find you.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's not baseball, and like, if you're good enough, people will find you for no
100%.
matter what it is. Yeah.
Definitely.
You touched on it earlier, but I want to, like, go into just, like, boarding school, just the school part, like, not like what happened, but
Yeah.
just like what's that like as a high school kid going to a boarding school?
So I moved away in 8th grade. I knew people there just from hockey, but I was never really friends with them. It was always they were on other teams. I hated them because they were on that teams.
Yeah.
So the first day I moved in, I had my whole family there, and then when they left, I had no idea what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know when I had to go to bed. I didn't know what I was gonna eat at night, like kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an eye opener for the first couple of weeks because I always had my parents after school, seeing them picking me up from school, them dropping me off at school, and then I'm here at the school. I'm waking up and I have to put on a tie and blazer to go to class.
Yeah.
I've always been the kid that's just sweatpants every day,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And but it made me grow as a human. Definitely, I put myself out there more.
Mm-hmm.
I was meeting kids from all over the world. I mean, I roomed my roommates my first year were from Mexico City and Korea.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool to like learn how they found out about this place, just like how I did, and what like their cultures are like compared to ours. And it's crazy. Like, it's eye opening. You never know like really how much you have over here, and some things they probably don't have wherever they are, kind of thing. And it was definitely a real growing experience, and I wouldn't take anything back from it because I think it made me who I am today.
Yeah.
No matter like whatever happened with that stuff.
Yeah.
It still made me who I am today, and definitely like proud to say that like I did it.
Yeah. Because you own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. As an 8th grader, I mean, for me, going, like I've said it before, but going to college as a freshman was such a culture shock for me. Now to do that as an 8th grader, like, that's just, I feel like that's so much. Like, you were there 5 days a week or all 7?
I was there 5 days a week.
Yeah. So then your parents would pick you up on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 days a week. No parents picking you up after school.
No parents, no cell phones. It was really strict. But again, it made you talk to people.
Yeah.
It made you get out of that comfort zone that you had wherever you were before.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like the teachers and the staff there, they loved it. I mean, they loved being kind of like the change of someone's life. Yeah. And I had that person there, and I mean, I'll be forever grateful for that person.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a different world from a public school, but thank God you had like the ability to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was definitely lucky to do it. I mean, I didn't know I was gonna even go there until after my 7th grade summer. My parents were like, "Do you want to do this?" And I was always up in the air with it just because I didn't really want to leave home. Kind of had stuff already set in stone. Like, I was going to play high school hockey as an 8th grader. Going to play high school baseball as an 8th grader. Always had that running through my head. And then it like I said, my class was 88 kids. I knew everyone. All those kids were my friends.
Yeah.
Didn't know how I would leave them, just kind of out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of realized, I looked at it from an academic and athletic standpoint. It would be the best fit for me.
Yeah.
I mean, at Hull, it's a good school, but it's easy to get by.
Yeah.
There was no getting by at that school. You actually had to do every single thing in greater detail.
Yeah, I feel like those schools, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like those schools push you to be more disciplined because you have to be more independent, and then they hold you to such high standards. Whereas if you're a public school, they obviously hold you high standards, but they're dealing with probably more kids
100%.
and less funding, so they're just like, if you get C's, like, that's your effort.
Right. And also I had this one teacher always bring this up. You pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to pay for school and work for it, go back to public school.
Yeah.
And that always was in my head. I'm like, my parents pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
They worked hard to pay for this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, and I'll be honest, it's not cheap.
No.
None of it's cheap, even if you get financial aid and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm seeing it through college now. It's crazy. But I always had that in the back of my head when I was doing homework, tests, quizzes, anything like that, classwork, that I'm going to put 100% into this because I know my parents put 100% into me. Yeah. Kind of thing.
Yeah. So the whole boarding school, it was your parents being like, do you want to do that?
Yeah. It was more on me than them, which...
Did you have to go out of your way to reach out to coaches, to like be like, okay, hey coach, I want to come here. Like, will I play here, or is it like they keep everybody?
So my first boarding school only went up to 9th grade. So after after your 9th grade year, you have to transfer and go to bigger prep schools, or you can go to Catholic school. They don't push you to go back to public schools because they know you probably worked hard enough to get to the point where you were that. Mm-hmm. Public school can be your last resort. That's easy. Yeah. So I applied to a good 10 to 15 boarding school, secondary schools that were 9 through 12. Yeah. I did some that I knew I didn't really have a chance to get into, but just applied just to see. Yeah. And then you have the middle ground, which is like I could get in, I may not get in, and if I get in, will I get the money? Mm-hmm. And then I knew schools that I could easily get into. I knew I would play right away. Yeah. And as I was looking, I wanted to be kind of at a school where academically it was really good, and then athletically it was even better. So when I was going through it, I decided to go to one school, and then I realized when I got my money package, wasn't even close that I couldn't even pay for a year. Jesus. So, and then I ended up getting a call from a coach saying that he would like me to come down, tour, have a conversation with me. So I went down, toured. Very nice, beautiful campus. And this is the school I ended up going to. It's beautiful campus, beautiful place. Slapped my bill right on the table right as I was in this meeting. Didn't say a single word and said, "Will you come here?" I look at the bill and I say, "Absolutely," because it's the best for my parents. And I knew, this school produced over 25 NHL players right now. Yeah. And then they have people in the minors, but a lot of Division I hockey players. Wow. And at the time, I thought I was a hockey player. Mm-hmm. So that was like my big thing. Yeah. And that's what attracted me to do it. But it was more on my own, and then I also had an advisor kind of help me get through everything. Yeah. But it was a cool experience going through, like, seeing all these different schools, though.
Mm-hmm. What is... How do I phrase this? So we're going to jump past the high school and get to college. You have to now decide between the two, hockey and baseball. Right. How did you make that tough decision?
Honestly, it kind of made the decision for itself. So at first, after I graduated from Hull, I was completely set on playing the junior hockey stuff. Mm-hmm. I already had a couple teams that I was going to go try out for. I had a couple teams that said that I could just come in and play right away. Yeah. And I was completely for it. I kept training for hockey. So I ended up playing Legion baseball for Cohasset. Played with a couple of my buddies from Hull. And my uncle actually gave me a call after one of the games and said that a college coach is going to be in your next game. Don't fuck up. Yeah. So I was like, okay. And I told him, I have no interest really playing baseball. And he's like, no, you're gonna want to hear what this guy says. So we ended up playing Canton. It's at Canton High School. Mm-hmm. I get out of my friend's car, and I turn around and I see this guy in a wheelchair. And I go, and he's wearing Massasoit. So
Yeah.
Coach Rizal.
Yeah.
Comes out to me and goes, "You O'Donnell?" I hope so, yeah. And then he started shooting the shit, telling stories about my uncle and my dad at the times, and kept talking to him. Really good guy. He definitely changed my life.
Yeah.
Kind of made me see stuff in a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So as the summer went on, I kind of kept talking to him, kept reaching out. He brought me on a tour of the Brockton campus. And, I mean, it's small, but, like, it's a college.
Yeah.
It gets the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided very late that, you know what, if this guy sees me as a baseball player and it seems like I'm going to have a better future going to college right away instead of being that 21-year-old freshman in hockey.
Yeah.
Which I did not want to do, but he definitely helped change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even like, I wasn't even upset about it. I was like, you know what, this is good for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just go right to college. Yeah, it's a community college, but it's still college. And it was definitely probably a very good choice that I made. Because I know now I'd probably only be a sophomore in college if I chose the hockey part.
That's crazy.
Which is
crazy.
Just completely nuts.
Yeah. So he believed in you pretty much from the get.
From the get-go, yeah. He kind of saw, and he says it to this day. Every time I see him, he's like, when I first met you, I saw your dad and your uncle in you.
Yeah.
I mean, when my dad and my uncle went there, their teams were just disgusting.
Oh, back in the day, Massasoit teams were gross.
I mean, they went to regionals both years that they were there, and they just he wanted to keep it like that. And it was just crazy. Like I had a class, and one of the professors, he said my name, looks up, and he goes, "Are you Dave and Mike's? Are you related to Dave and Mike O'Donnell?" I go, "Dave's my dad, Mike's my uncle." He goes, "I had them in class." And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So
Been there a while.
Been there a while. Very old guy, but just shot the shit, talked baseball all the time. He's a good dude, but it definitely was a good experience. I could definitely say junior college was probably the best for me right out of high school, because I probably couldn't last. I don't think I would have lasted at a big college.
I think it's a good stepping stone
Yeah.
for a lot of people. I think a lot of people overlook it.
Yeah.
And I know for me, living the town over pretty much Massasoit, it gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fucking JUCO,
Yeah.
community college. Like, no, the idiots go there. And it's like, but it also could be like a very smart play. Like, not only do you develop with a great coach who believes in you, who supports you, which is something to be said for that. And then, like, it's cheap. It's cheaper than going.
It's definitely cheaper.
And then when you get out, like, you not only get your associate's degree, right, but you get like
mass transfer.
Yeah,
stuff.
mass transfer.
Yep.
They give you the good price if you want to go to a state school. So it's a good play that I think a lot of people should consider, because I don't know, it gets a bad rap.
It does, because I mean, when I heard Massasoit Community College, and I was like, community college.
Yeah.
I overlooked it, and he kind of talked to me like, this is going to be good for you. You're going to be, I was a liberal arts major, so I only took just like the required classes for that, which is like basically the core classes before you even take your major classes anywhere else.
Yeah.
Got those all out of the way. I ended up getting my associates and transferred to Bridgewater. I only had to do my major classes, so it was perfect.
Yeah.
So it definitely, people should not overlook it. I'll say that, definitely.
No. Yeah. I mean, I think it goes for a lot of things, but like, there's things that get bad rap.
Yeah.
Are there people there that like can give it a bad rap? Yeah, sure.
100%.
But it's like, for a lot, it's cheap, it's a building block for you to like find yourself. It's like a stepping stone. And sometimes I'm like, I kind of wish I did that. But I didn't, and I don't regret not going that, but it's like, like if you want to play like the financial game, like do that.
Right.
Or if you're not like maybe developed enough as an athlete, because there's a lot of kids when they're 18 that aren't developed as athletes. And then, you give them another 2 years in their body and they turn 20, they might have gone from somebody who got overlooked by D3 schools to be like, if they get the right coach and the right program, then they're like, like Bryce Harper was drafted out of JUCO.
Not right.
Obviously, he's a freak, but there's a lot of people that get drafted out of JUCO as A, and then B, it's like, if you get a good coach that develops you, not only are you gaining a little bit of further education, but you're also gaining more knowledge about your body, feeling more comfortable in your skin, like developing as a human.
That's definitely how I felt. I mean, I played a kid my sophomore year. He went to Northern Essex, got drafted by the Angels. He's in AAA already right now.
That's crazy.
This kid he went to of course he's one of those kids. He went D1.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle the schooling part. He handled the baseball part obviously, but there's just the schooling part.
Yeah.
Goes to Northern Essex, wins NJCAA Player of the Year and everything. He's leading every category.
Yeah.
Gets drafted and now he's in AAA. It's like you see those kids, like you can see those kids, in Division I, Division III, but like in JUCO, it's like you only have those 2 years to make yourself known. Mm-hmm. That kid definitely did that.
Yeah.
But
good for that kid.
Yeah, he was disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What position?
Pitcher and a shortstop. He threw 90 from the mound, threw 93 from shortstop.
Jesus, kind of love that.
Yeah, it was. Wish I was on my team.
Yeah. Well, that's like your biggest rival, right?
Essex?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They hated them. Of course, we had Totondo at shortstop.
Oh. Shout out to Totondo.
Yeah, shout out Luke Totondo. Just great guy.
He is. Very entertaining. Okay, so now you play 2 years at Massasoit, do pretty well, and it brings notice to now a 4-year school, Bridgewater State. The coach wants you to come help out. First year was the COVID year.
It's COVID year, yeah.
Yeah, didn't really get a chance.
No, not really. I mean, I started the fall game, didn't do well, and then when we got down to Florida, I only played 3 or 4 games and didn't really hit my way out into the lineup or something like that. I'm going to interrupt.
Y'all remember Sean Smeglin?
Oh, yeah.
OD came scrimmaged us on Massasoit, and he hit a ball off Smeggy, probably 350 down the left field line.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. That was when Smeggy talked about the end of his baseball career, when he started being shit at pitching, it happened after that moment. So
apologize for that.
Yeah. But yeah, you came to Bridgewater in Florida. Mm-hmm. And it was like, okay.
It was shaky, definitely. Definitely just couldn't get comfortable kind of thing. Kind of knew the season was over when you're seeing all the COVID stuff.
Yeah, that was a crazy time.
Yeah. I mean, our room, it was me, you, Pap, and Belly. Mm-hmm. We saw everything going right on the TV. Everything's just dying. Like, everything's getting shut down.
NBA got shut down.
I mean, March Madness was going on, and it just got canceled.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Ivy League's canceled they're all sports. Mm-hmm. And then, we'd be at first, I just remember playing first, and the kids would be like, "You guys' season get canceled yet?" I'd be like, "Nah, actually, we're good." And I just got canceled today. And parents would be like, "Hey, you guys still have a season?" It was just everybody, it was bigger than baseball. It wasn't you know how you guys, it literally was people who wouldn't say a word to you or people who you play against are like, "Damn, let's enjoy this.
Right.
Let's just have fun."
Yeah.
Your season's over. And it's we didn't find out our season ended until, I think, the last day.
I think, honestly, because Zach said that, we don't know anything yet. Yeah. I think we found out a good 2 weeks after we got back, when they're no classes going back in person. Yeah. And the MASCAC finally put something out, because I think the MASCAC might have been the last.
They told us 2 weeks. Yeah. They were like, we'll just, 2 weeks, we'll be good after this whole thing brushes over.
Right, and we had we were still having captain's practices.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we get the text from Z saying, "Oh yeah, season's canceled."
Yeah.
So that was just that whole year was just a wash for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I didn't even get to do it. I didn't really prove myself. And when I saw everything's getting canceled, I'm like, "Oh, what's the point?"
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I didn't give up, but it was in the back of your head, you're like, "This is probably it."
Yeah. So this past season, the
mm-hmm.
next season, I'm going to put it my way and then you can tell.
Okay.
You start the season, you're not really playing a lot. And then you kind of do what you did this past week. You get in the lineup and you catch fire. We needed a bat in the lineup and you were that guy. You just were 2 hits a game, 2 RBIs a game. And then you get injured on, I don't know if it was the acrobatic slide or just a bad landing on a secondary. Mm-hmm. But you get injured. So tell us... Just I want you to explain your view of that and then what working back from that is like.
So at the beginning of the season when I wasn't playing, I mean I got 2 pitch hit. I pitch hit twice.
Pitch hitting sucks.
It was
Miniature,
terrible.
it sucks.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it the first game this year, and I was just like, Jesus, not again. The game was 16-2, and I'm like, oh, all right. But I'll take it. I'll take it at bat here and there.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was going through like a big mental part through it. I was consider, and I've never quit anything in my life. I was considering just being like, maybe this is it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a good run. Maybe this is just time telling me that, you know what, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of hit me right. We were at Worcester. I was in the lineup, and then all of a sudden my name got erased. And then I was supposed to pitch hit, didn't end up pitch hitting. So I was kind of on the bus ride home. I texted my parents. I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. So then I finally got in the lineup. I got on base every time I was up. So I was like, you know what, maybe this is saying that, you know what, this is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day happens, tear my ACL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had no idea if that was it for me. I didn't know how bad it was, because originally I was told it was my meniscus, and I thought that's completely worse. And when I found out it was my ACL, I was like, you know what, I can work with that.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up doing PT at a great physical therapy place that I am now working at.
Oh, awesome.
So love the people there. They're a great group of girls.
Mm-hmm.
They're all 3 girls that I work with. They're awesome. I mean, they definitely. I went there from when I tore my UCL.
Yeah.
They took me right in, and I mean, they helped me get right. And then in the fall, I was hoping to hear I was good for the fall, getting ready for the spring kind of thing. And when I went to my doctor, he goes, "You're not playing the fall," and that broke me.
Yeah, missing the fall is tough.
It could happen to you last year.
I've missed the fall twice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got hurt.
I broke my finger on just catching a relay, and then I wasn't eligible to play the fall.
And it was just nuts. And first real fall practice after tryouts, coach brought me up and he goes, "Will you be ready to play the spring?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I'm gonna be ready." And then he's like, "Well, I gotta know for sure if you're gonna be ready, because that's gonna be leaning on if you're still here or not."
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, I hope I'm ready.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I just kept working out, kept doing my thing. And then 2 weeks right before we went back to school, from Christmas break, I got the call saying, "You know what, you're good to go." Went to go get my letter, all excited. And it definitely was an adjustment going back. I mean, I had to wear a knee brace.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looked like a fool.
Clunky.
Yep. I mean, it made noises every time I moved.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a tough experience, because I've never really done anything that bad where it was like, okay, your career might be over.
Mm-hmm.
And every day over the summer, I couldn't do anything. It was just PT, and that's it.
That's tough.
It was tough, and I'm just in my room thinking.
Yeah.
Some days I'm like, oh, I feel great. The next day I feel terrible, and I'm like, do I just call it?
How do you work through something like that? Mentally?
Mentally, I'll bring it back. It's a big part of my parents.
Yeah.
They always, and even my brothers, I mean, they know I was hurting.
Mm-hmm.
They could see, I was on crutches for a good month. They could see I was in pain, but they were like, just keep going, just trust it. It's gonna suck. And it did suck, but they just said, keep pushing through it. I mean, you know what you need to do, and just do it. And I ended up doing that, and luckily I got cleared to play, and I had a good week last week, so
yeah.
Definitely grateful for that.
Yeah. So you've battled back from 2 injuries.
Right.
And you didn't have surgery on either of them.
No.
Both were kind of major injuries. In terms of baseball athletes, they're kind of major.
Yeah.
An ACL and a UCL. I mean, luckily you're not a pitcher. If you're a pitcher, you probably would have got Tommy John.
100%. Yeah. If I was a pitcher, I would have.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where they were like, it's torn, but PT will help regain the muscle. Mm-hmm. It's still going to be torn, but if you do the PT the right way, which luckily I did do it. I went to a good PT. Mm-hmm. They helped me get through it and stuff like that. The knee is a little different just because it's ACL. You never really know when and where it's going to give out. Because when I first got hurt, it gave out every day.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And now I can see I'm getting stronger, And should I have got the surgery? I can't really answer that. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I feel like if I got the surgery, I would have never been able to play.
Yeah. Do you have days where it flares up, or it's like, oh shit, it feels weak today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after our second to last game in Florida yesterday, after the game, I'm like, my knee's just hurting.
Yeah.
I mean, I played 3 9s in a row, and then played a 7, and I was just like, it's killing me right now.
Yeah.
So there are days where I'm like, geez, I just need to sit down, or like one of those things. But I feel like it keeps getting better and better. So I'm just hoping it keeps doing that.
Yeah. You keep up with like all your exercise and everything?
Yeah. Every day I have to do it.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. People are just like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Then it comes back.
Yeah. That's the thing now. Like, I mean, I worked for a month at that physical therapy place, and just people coming in and like, I keep getting re-hurt.
Yeah.
Do you do your exercises? No.
Yeah.
There's your problem.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely doing that, doing bands, like with the bands on my knees and stuff like that, kind of like what Freddie did.
Yeah.
Do that all the time, and then do like just stretching, and then I always ride the bike.
It's crazy. How long does it take you to do your exercises every day?
I'd say a good hour and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it a lot just because
Yeah.
it's hard to do it, because I mean with class and baseball.
Yeah.
But I usually do it for a good 2 hours, because like I'll ride the bike for like a good hour,
All right.
and then everything else is like an hour.
Yeah. So if you don't ride the bike,
Yeah.
an hour a day, you can squeeze it in.
Yeah.
Especially as a college kid.
100%.
Nice. All right, we're gonna move on to what I call like spicier questions.
All right.
So first one is, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I see you as someone who is counted out by people. They're like, OD, like, wherever it is, it's like, he's OD, he's serviceable, but he's like, is he? There's nothing flashy about you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not like he's not speedy, he's not the strongest kid, but you always get it done.
Yeah.
How do you even let that noise get in your head?
I do. It definitely has impacted me a little bit, especially for when I first started my college career, kind of thing. But I remember, I mean, we talked a lot. We played first base a lot, and like talking to you, kind of, I was like, you know what, like, I can't let it get in my head, because I mean, I'm kind of like a mental midget kind of thing.
Yeah, I do remember a few practices where it was like, you see a freshman Saraceno scooping everything, and it was just like, fuck, like what's going on?
No, 100%. But I've always been overlooked. And I'm not just saying that just to say it, but it definitely feels like I've always been overlooked. I mean, growing up, I was always the biggest kid on the team. Like, not top, like fat. Like, I'll say fat. Fat, weight wise.
Yeah. I was the same boat. So
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, was I good at the sports that I was doing? Yes, but a kid could just call me fat, and I'll just be like, done. Like, I'm done for the day, kind of thing. And I never got like that. I got a reality check kind of my freshman year of college, when the sophomores were kind of fucking with me at practice, and I wasn't having good practice. Like, Coach Rizal was screaming at me the whole time. That's when Coach Zach was at Massasoit, and I mean, I was screwing up, and as Coach Zach, you know Coach Zach.
Yeah.
Like, if you screw up, he'll let you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I love playing for him. But and they just kept doing whatever they were doing, and I would give it back to them, as they usually would, because just from like past experiences, I never did. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna give it back, and I ended up not playing for a good 2 weeks because of it. Really? Yeah. I had to have a sit down with Coach Son. He's like, I get what's going on. He understood, because he has conversations with my dad about like stuff that happened, why stuff happened, kind of thing, and he sat down with me, and that kind of was like, you know what, they can say whatever they want to me. I'm just gonna fly, like you said, fly under the radar, do my thing when I get my chances, and kind of just be that person that prove people wrong, kind of thing. Because I know my freshman year Massasoit, kids weren't expecting me to like do anything. I was like their bullpen catcher kind of thing. Yeah. And then I come in. It was we went to Myrtle, same place, and I went off, and I just played every day after that, kind of thing. And I kind of like being like that.
A lot less pressure.
100%. Like, my sophomore year, I was kind of the man at Massasoit. Like, if I didn't get a hit, we get smoked. We would lose or get smoked, kind of thing. So I had to change that year. Yeah. But like after that, I'm like, I can't. That's not me. Yeah. Like that's not the way I play, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. How do you come to that awareness? That like, it's just internally, you're just like, that's not me, or.
It was more internal. Like I know who I am, kind of thing. Yeah. And I know what I can do. Mm-hmm. I know what I can't do. Yeah. Definitely can't. I mean, I stole a bag down in Merle last week, but that's just not me. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm one of those kids that. I can hit a home run, but I'm more just line drives.
Battle in the box.
Yeah, kind of thing. Just kind of grind everything out.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. What? You said something and I wanted to touch on it, but I just looked at my notes. Well, we'll tie it into the next question. Is how do you work through? I'm going to give a baseball analogy for a slump. You're in a slump, but obviously there's a mental slump. How do you? And this is where my question actually is coming back is, how do you? What's your perspective on? The outside world. Beating a dead horse, almost. It's like sometimes that. How do you work through that? A situation like that, where it's you're already down and they're or the life's beating you up, and now there's more shit getting thrown on the fire.
Right. That's kind of when I rely on people, like my family and stuff. I mean, like for example, last year, like, I broke up with my girlfriend. It just wasn't a very good relationship, kind of thing. So I was down about that just because thought it was going good, and then all of a sudden just shit hits the fan. Yeah. That brought me down, and then baseball was kind of bringing me down. So my outlooks were becoming something that was bringing me down. And I honestly didn't know what to do. I mean, I was coming home and I wouldn't talk to my parents, and that's not who I am. I'm coming like shit talking to my dad or fucking with my mom, kind of thing. And no, I wasn't doing that. So my parents were like, that's when they come into play. They've been a really good influence to me. I mean, they've always been there for me, and I mean, I can't say enough what they do. I mean, they've been through a lot, especially with me and even my brothers. But I definitely look for them to kind of help me get out of whatever I'm going through. And even, I mean, I have my friend group that same thing. They know everything.
That's awesome.
I can rely on them for anything. Like if I needed to go get like a drink or something, like they'd be on it like that kind of thing. So definitely rely on people to do that, to get out of stuff.
That's awesome that you have that. That's core foundation of people, and that that you can rely on them. I mean, and to share your vulnerability with people and friends. That's tough.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. Like I remember my freshman year. This kid very well, Ricky Sherlock. He was the first person I told at Massasoit about my whole experience and stuff, and we connected on it because he kind of went through the same thing. Maybe not I can't say if it was as bad or not because I don't really know. I wasn't there.
You don't know with other people,
but we connected on that, and he was always there for me. He was honestly like another big brother to me. Yeah. And that whole year, he was just always around. We were always around. We caught together, so we were always around each other and fucking with each other. So it was, he was another person like that year that was a good person just to go to and talk.
Yeah, I think being vulnerable is so special. Like that's a gift. Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to share, which is completely understandable. Like, right. Either you don't want to drop that burden on someone that you think's a burden, or you're just not there comfortably with it yet. Correct. Did you always share, or did it it took a while?
It took a while. I never told anyone until I went to a doctor's appointment, and my doctor was like, there's something wrong. And that at that point was when I told my parents everything that kind of went on. And they saw how bad it was hurting myself,
Yeah.
mental health wise, and then just health wise in general.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tough for me to tell people. I mean, it was tough for me to even tell. I mean, my brothers, because
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know how they were gonna react.
Mm-hmm.
There was ways I would think they would react,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was ways I'm like, oh, they're gonna be like, oh, like you're soft, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I never always had that.
No.
I kind of had to learn how to trust people, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to be able to be like, hey, I can tell this person something, and I know if I ever need anything, they're gonna be there, kind of thing. And again, like this year, I found that person, like I did a Massasoit, like Graham. He's my roommate,
Yeah.
and he's been really good to me. Like he just always is there for me whenever I need it. So it's just like another outlook I have.
Yeah.
But I'm glad like now I could be like, hey, I'm off. This is why I'm off.
Mm-hmm.
Try to like if I'm ever like this, can like try to get me out of my room.
Yeah.
If I say no, like basically drag me out of the
Yeah.
room. And I mean Graham's really good with that.
Yeah.
So it's I'm glad I have that.
Yeah. I mean it comes because of the hard work you put in to articulate that to people. Yeah. I mean for me, your parents sound very like a rock for you, whereas my parents, I love my parents, but I can't really tell them my things of how I'm sorting out. So I had to see a therapist. Mm-hmm. Did they help in assisting to find a therapist? Absolutely. Right. But it's like to be able to come to that point and be like, I'm fucked up. I'm going through shit. Like that's not easy.
Yeah, because that's the same thing. Like I went to a therapist, and again he was kind of him, and then the doctor that I went to go see before I even went to the therapist were the ones that kind of were like, hey, you got to say it. Mm-hmm. You keep it in, it's going to hurt you more, kind of sort of thing. And I was like, you know what, like they're right. I can't keep everything in because then it just ends up hurting myself more. I'm like, because I'll just overthink things. Yeah. And I do that already, so it's like, so that definitely does help.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Everybody has their own shit, I guess. Yeah. Like just something that happens and we never want to tell. Mm-hmm. We never. Until we get to the point where, I don't know, do you think it's like a confidence in yourself of who you are? You're like, I know who I am now. Like I've found myself and I'm confident who I am, so now I'm not afraid to tell my story kind of thing? Or is it just like, I'm just going to blibber blabber, I just need to get it out. It's like it's a balloon that's just filling up inside me and I need to get it out.
Right. It's kind of like I guess it's kind of both ways. Because when I went back to Hull, they brought someone in and he was talking big on like mental health. Mm-hmm. And like what you need to do if you have mental health problems, seek help. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm a big, now that like I've kind of grown and stuff, I'm big on like wanting to help people that if they're having something wrong with them, it's okay to be like not okay, kind of thing. Like that's why sometimes like on like Instagram and stuff, I'll post like mental health stuff. Yeah. Whenever it comes up, or like I mean, you see now like professional athletes go through it. Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's great that it's getting shared.
Yeah, and I mean, one guy I look up to, he's hockey goalie in the NHL. His name's Robin Leonard. Mm-hmm. He's been through anything and everything. I mean, mental health and all that stuff, and he's so open about it. Like every tweet he has, he's talking about his own mental health and then someone else's. So he's tying in other people's, which is, I think, is pretty cool, and like, it's good. It's good to see because it's like you need people who, I think the more professional athletes that come out, the better awareness for it, kind of thing. Yeah. It'll make more people comfortable to be like, hey, this is my story.
Yes, absolutely. It makes it more normalized where it's not like seen as like voodoo or like bad. Right. So.
100%.
All right, man. Next question. What are some of the things that someone who is in a funk or going through some shit or, you know, is on their own mental health journey, what are things that like worked for you or that like you would just say to them?
tie it back. It's always okay to not be okay,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And I kind of stole that from a thing called Bell Let's Talk.
Yeah.
It's about Canadian mental health.
Mm-hmm. That's Canadian.
Yeah. So I see people now. I mean, I can kind of see it. My younger brother now, that sometimes his mental health is not where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of went through some stuff in the fall,
Mm-hmm.
and his mental health was just drained.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be that person he wanted to talk to, but he went into that shell like I was,
Mm-hmm.
and then he finally got comfortable enough to open up and be like, "Hey, I'm not okay."
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a big part of it because people think that keeping it in will be better. And I feel like that mental health is one of those things where you can't keep it in because then it's just going to keep eating at you.
Yeah.
But definitely don't be afraid to talk to someone, even if it's like we just said, like even if it's just you have to go to a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna be people might look at you differently. Like, oh, this kid goes to a therapist, but
I think it's so commonplace nowadays.
I think it's getting better.
Like to find a therapist nowadays is hard.
Yeah, 100%.
You're on a wait list.
Especially a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find therapists, but like the problem is you want to find the right one,
Yeah.
and the right person that's gonna lead you
Yep.
to where you want to be successful in life.
Absolutely.
And honestly, just kind of do things that make you happy. Like find those outlooks that you can go to and be like, hey, I'm happy here.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, one was just sitting at the high school at the gut, just looking out at the water.
Yeah.
Looking over at Boston, Quincy, just kind of just sitting there watching the water, watching boats go by. That was one of my really big outlooks, especially in high school, just because it's just right there. I can just go sit there. And I'd say probably the last thing that I did, have like a happy place in your mind. Because I know sometimes it's hard to get out and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but like in your mind, have like a certain amount of people, whoever makes your life better, always have them in like your head, your thoughts kind of thing. And
or like memories too. Or?
Yeah, memories too. Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, there was always a memory in my head. My younger brother's NLI day. I mean, that was a happy day for my whole family. It was a happy day for me because, I mean, my younger brother's playing Division I baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, a kid from a small town that people knew he was good, and coming from Hull, no one really knew about him. And then he actually goes on that stage, does really well, and it's like all his hard work has paid off. And, I mean, even talk to him now, he's like, you know, yeah, you guys were assholes to me growing up, but it pushed me to be better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But definitely, I feel like those three topics are probably the big thing that helped me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy that for me, I have a happy place too. And when I was always going through shit, but I didn't know I was going through shit, I would always go, actually it was to my high school, and I would like do a workout or just like sit at the baseball field.
Right.
Like those are or like baseball in college, like when I tore my labrum, I knew I was out, I would go to practice.
Right.
Like they still let me practice with the team just to be there with the guys.
Right.
So I wonder if it's like for everybody that it's like there's just a place that just brings it all back.
Right.
Or like looking at the stars.
Yeah.
For me is always like, wow, that centers you a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was last year. I mean, I was hurt. I went to every practice, went to every game. Even the away games when I wasn't allowed on the bus, I would drive. That was where last year where I was hurt. That was where I wanted to be. I just wanted to be on the field with you guys.
Yeah.
Just being around the guys is just. I mean, last year we had a fun group.
We did. Last year's team was probably the biggest team chemistry, the best team chemistry I was on, and I was there for 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a family bond. I felt kind of thing. Everyone had each other's back, so that's what I used last year. Definitely was a big thing.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I think it's really great advice to have like a happy place.
Yeah.
But yours was of your brother.
Yeah.
It just again goes back to like the character that you have of you. What is the biggest plot twist of your life, or what has been the biggest plot twist? So if you know it, then you can interrupt me, but a biggest plot twist is like, you're just riding along and then it's like you hit a street sign and then you gotta turn around because you're about to run off the road kind of thing. It's like something that came up you didn't see what was the biggest plot twist? But it actually was a benefit.
I'd probably say the whole massoid thing.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to decide what I was gonna do. Did not think anything of it. I mean, I knew I wanted to play hockey. I knew I wanted to be a hockey player. But right as I got to the road where I was like, okay, I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Russell comes wheeling out, talking to me.
Yeah.
And I have my parents. They were like, they weren't against the hockey thing, but they thought I would have been more successful just going right to school.
Yeah.
And when I took that turn, it came out to be probably the best decision of my life. Do I miss hockey? Absolutely. I miss playing every day.
Yeah.
But I knew, baseball and just going to school right away would just be a lot better for me.
Yeah.
Not only as a student athlete, just as a person, just growing up right away.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Instead of waiting to finally go to college and then you're basically already too late to grow up because you're supposed to be kind of, I guess, technically grown up when you're
21 level freshman.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Huh. Did that again, did you have a gut feeling on that, or was that just like, I think that's it? Like, were you jumping over a little cliff to get from like, I think actually the baseball is the right way, or was it more of a gut feeling like that actually feels good?
I think it was more of the gut feeling because playing summer baseball. I mean, that was my first summer since I was 12 that I played baseball all summer.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because I only focused, like I said, I focused on hockey, and then doing that, like, it made me realize how much I loved playing baseball, how much I loved being around a team, screwing around the dugout, playing games, kind of thing. It was definitely one of those things I was like, you know what, this is it. It made me realize kind of late that this is it, but I'm glad I finally was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I should do, kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
One last question.
All right.
Well, 2, 1.5.
Okay.
What's the one value you live by? Like your biggest value in life?
Being honest.
It's a good one.
I feel like around me there was a lot of liars that would say that they were being honest, and all of a sudden they would turn on their words.
Yeah. The worst.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always live by being honest because I want to be honest with myself. I don't want to say to someone, this is going to happen, and then it's just that doesn't happen. I'm one of those people that when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. It could be something stupid. It could be something that's going to impact something in my life. But being truly honest to myself is something that, and other people, is something that I live by.
Yeah.
It's just something that I feel like I said, I think I got that from my parents. Because my dad's he's a hockey coach. He's a very honest person, and you need that now, I feel like. Because
not enough of honest men and women.
Exactly.
Everybody in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great value to have. I would say that's top 3 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it ties into being honest with others, transparent, like sharing your troubles.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. OD, where can people find you? Or if you don't want people to find you, what is one resource that you think people should follow?
Definitely my Instagram. If people like for me at least, mental health stuff, I post it a lot just because it's I want to bring the awareness that it's not fake. Some people think it's fake, and as I was going through my journey, I heard people say it's fake. It's not real. It's just you're overthinking stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely my Instagram probably.
And what's that?
It is. Let me pull up my phone. I'll let you know.
Wow, not off the top of the head.
I couldn't tell you. It's JOD _3329.
3329.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Go follow my man OD. Hopefully he continues a hot year at the Bridgewater State Bears baseball. And maybe we'll surprise some people.
I hope so.
Thank you, OD. That
Appreciate
was awesome.
it. Thank you.
That was a great one.
How much of a factor does your physical health play into your mental health, you think?
What's our plans for the future? Your plans for the future?
One piece of advice you could give to everyone in the world. What do you think it would be?
This is Spitballin with Colin.